Pulling out in the 4-lane. Well, hey y'all, welcome back to Doug's Cars. Something a little different here today. I'm not sure what. Let's see what happens if I do this. Oh, hey, now that's more like it. Picked a great day to review a convertible because it's raining. I haven't been in a convertible since I sold my M3, the one I bought from Hoovie. That had issues. This is much nicer. This is a 2006 Z4 3.0 SI. So it's actually the, I'm gonna put this back up, it's raining. It's actually the 3-liter, normally aspirated, 255 horsepower, straight 6. It's the N52, and this was ranked one of the greatest engines of that era. So, hey, let's take this for a little ride and see what it does. Pulling out into traffic. It's interesting. It doesn't have the 3-click on the turn signal. I think you could turn those off on these. Oh, that sounds good. There's nothing like the sound of a BMW straight 6. I realize I'm a bit of a fanboy for them, but wow, does it sound good. And it's interesting. So there is a sport button down here. I don't know what it does because it's not an automatic, and usually these change the shift points in an automatic when you've got a sport button, but it's obviously a 6-speed manual. It feels, oh yeah, this just drives so nicely. Ooh. Oh man. You know, I was a little hesitant when I was going to drive this because things like Miatas, I just don't fit in very well. I drove that TR6 a while back and I had a hard time. Now, apparently there was something wrong with the seat, and I only had that car for about 20 minutes total, including the 15 minutes of video that I made. So, honestly, I probably could have gotten it adjusted better had I had more time, but I didn't. And it just wouldn't move for me, and it wasn't my car, so I wasn't going to mess with it too much. Oh, yes. Yes. Sounds good. Okay, the clutch pickups a little differently to what I was expecting. So I actually had this engine and transmission in a 3 Series sedan. It was an E90 330i. It was a 1-year only model in the US. And the cool thing about that was it was the last normally aspirated 3 Series more performance model in the US. Everything after that was turbocharged. So the engine was like, really easy to maintain, and I feel the same way about this. I think that this would be a very easy car to maintain with this straight 6-speed manual combination here. It's driving really well. This thing's got 56,000 miles on it, and it's a 2006. Beautiful red interior. I've always liked red interiors on cars. And there's a little wear here and there on a few of the pieces because it's 14 years old. I mean, it's the same age as my Discovery 3, and that car's got plenty of wear on it. This is pretty cool. I'm really digging this. Pull it onto a slightly faster road here in a second, and I changed the camera angle because it was kind of just a little tiny bit in the way. Wow, okay, it's got the hill holder like my M4, which is nice. There's a little bit of a hill there. Yes. Wow, the pickup on the clutch is way up at the top. That's weird. Like way up at the top. It's got a long clutch throw like a German car, but okay, that's a better shift. Yeah, I'd have to drive this a few more times. I just hopped into it for the first time, backed it out of the driveway, and took it for a ride here. Man. Yeah. That sounds so good. I really like that. I really like that. Yeah, this is a nice little car. You know what? I'm not doing this thing justice. I'm gonna pull over here on the next street, put this top down. It's not raining that hard. Let's see what it's like when we can hear that exhaust. Yes. Oh yes. And I'm starting to get the clutch better. Oh yeah. That's a nice exhaust note. That really is. There's just something about a straight 6 in a BMW. It just sounds so good. Pulling out in the 4-lane. What an awesome car. Really, what an awesome car. This is fun. I could get used to this. Probably need a ball cap. Although it might blow off. It's windshield header is pretty low on this car. That is a concern for me, just because it's kind of right above my eye level. So if I wear a hat in a car like this, it's gonna blow off. And I need to wear a hat in a car like this. Yeah. Maybe having something like this isn't something I should do at some point. Let's see, top up. It's starting to come down some more, so it's a pretty quick top though. Yeah, the latch is in place nicely. So what have we here? We've got a lit, oh, you put, that's for your phone, I guess. There's a light in there, and it's 2 level. What's that? I don't know what that does. Maybe it releases this. Sun visor, whoops, sorry. They do have a tiny little mirror on them that I can't access. Windows are nice. Yeah, this is just a nice little car. I wonder, can I lower the seat anymore? Ooh. Oh, I can lower the seat more. Oh, maybe that's the key. Just have to move it forward when I do that, because of course there's stuff behind me. Yeah, I think lowering the seat might be the key, because now the windshield header is in a much better location. And unfortunately, I don't think I'm back far enough now. Yeah, I don't think this car was totally designed for someone my height. Yeah, it might just be a little too small. Maybe I should see if I could drive one of the coupe versions of this with the hatchback on it. That might just work, because there wouldn't be this bulkhead right behind the seat, and I could put the seat back further and have it low, and I might actually be able to drive something like this for an extended period of time. But yeah, if I were thinking about something like this, I don't know if this would be my choice. Honestly, out of all of these, the best little convertible I've driven, 2-seat convertible, was my buddy Thomas's S2000. We picked that up earlier this year, back when 2020 was just a new year and not a crazy year, and I will link to that video because that's definitely worth checking out. He bought it on Bring a Trailer, and we road tripped in surprisingly similar weather down to Eastern Virginia to pick it up in my M4, and he let me drive it in the rain, which was very nice. And you know, that car really had enough room for me in it, which I was surprised about, because Miatas just don't do it, and I don't think this one does either, and that's too bad, because this is the first normally aspirated BMW 6-cylinder I've driven in a long time, and I'm really enjoying driving. It really drives well, really does. Like, I could see myself driving one of these and enjoying it. It has the gauges that were from the X3, the initial X3, the one that was built by Steyr in Austria, and I never cared for them. They're very hooded. They look unlike any other BMW gauge cluster, and for some reason they've just never appealed to me. Of course, these were made in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and the X3 wasn't, which is strange that they use the same kind of components. But let's see, it's got automatic lights, does not have automatic wipers. But yeah, very basic gauge set, very basic, even for that time. It's a neat car. I've always liked red interiors. That's one thing I wish my M4 had, was the red interior on it, and it just doesn't have that. And you know, that's what you get when you don't buy something brand new and you don't pick it yourself, and I knew that. But basic business CD stereo. I think you can get these with satellite navigation. I don't remember exactly how that fit in here. Maybe you had to wait, because this is the F85, sorry, the E85. We didn't get to F's yet. This is the E85 model. Which is oddly enough, I had an X1 3.5i, which was an E84, but that was a 2013, and they stopped making these in 2008, I believe, of which this is obviously 2006. So this was already towards the end of the life cycle of this vehicle before they went to the newer design. I've also liked those. Those are good looking cars. You know, always had always had a like for these. Interesting automatic climate control. It does have numbers, but they're just written out. They're not digital. Put it on auto. AC works nicely. Top works. Heated seat worked. Sport button is on and lit up, which means it's doing something. I have no idea what that does. I'm gonna have to look that up because that kind of is funny. Like, what on earth does the sport button do? And the turn signal clicker is an odd sound. It doesn't sound like any normal BMW turn signal to me. Put the hazards on. If I can, here they are. Doesn't that sound a bit odd? It doesn't sound like a BMW turn signal. Maybe they did and I've just forgotten what they sounded like in 2006. Or maybe that's the one from the X3 and I drove one of those back when they were new. The dealer tried to get me to buy one. I ended up with that E90 330i instead. And the X3 was a 3-liter manual too. It was a pretty neat little vehicle, but I wanted the sedan instead. That's what I went for. So this was a fun drive. I really appreciate Troy letting me borrow this. This is not from his collection, but something that's coming up for sale soon, and this is gonna make a great little car for somebody. You know, maybe a third car or someone who doesn't drive much. And let's hop out real fast and take a look at the exterior of this. I've always liked this. For whatever reason, I have really always enjoyed the fact that the BMW logo is illuminated for the turn signals on these. Of course, this logo might need a, I think these are normal. I think these are the ones you just replace like any other ones. This does have controversial wheels on it. I'm not a huge fan of them with the exposed bolts like that, but a lot of people do like them. But yeah, it's a really nice black. I think it's just regular black with a black top and a red interior. And what a cool interior that actually is. You've got the extendable bolsters here, power seats of course. Turn off the hazards while we're here. So yeah, there's the sport button that I'm not sure what it does. You've got your heated seat controls there, climate, regular business stereo there. That's interesting. That's like the OnStar that BMW provides. And it's got a new top on it, which is nice. That's going to definitely make a good selling point for whoever ends up with this vehicle. And yeah, this is a cool car. Long hood. I mean, you've got from the trailing edge of the wheel to the end of the fender there is what, like 1.5 feet? That's how you can tell for sure this is not a front-wheel drive car, because no front-wheel drive car would ever have that much space there. And then kind of a shark-like front end where it's kind of come to a point in the middle there. Big long hood. I mean, that hood's like 5 feet long. Back to a tiny little trunk. Let's take a look at the trunk. That's actually not too bad. Huh. So yeah, you can access the top there. There's a little flap here. There's a toolkit down there. I imagine that would be the, yep, there's the battery. It's actually not too bad. Owner's manual there. That's a better trunk than I expected. All right, y'all, I'm gonna turn these BMW keys back over to the owner and thank him so much for letting me take this out for a quick spin. I've had a blast driving this thing. Just to drive a convertible is so nice. And even though it's raining out and I couldn't have the top down for too long, hearing that engine note with the top down just really brought me back to my E86 M3 convertible that I had, which was a bit bigger inside and a little easier for me to fit inside because it was 4-seater. And yeah, I just want to thank you all so much for watching. Please hit subscribe if you want to see more fun stuff, because I do all kinds of cool stuff here, from Land Rovers to BMWs.